Good evening.
Good evening.
And happy Christmas. There is the Christmas tree. 2 episodes too late, but that's all right. We don't mind. Happy Christmas. We watched Fires of Pompeii tonight. We're down to one Doctor Who episode a week at the moment because life is just like that. But therefore,
Well, maybe because of the kids.
well, mainly because the kids, because they're pains. But anyway, that's not
because they want to watch it.
right. Fires of Pompeii. We put this on. Everybody in this house unusually has seen this episode before.
I love it.
And absolutely love it. Now, Humphrey whinged, didn't he? He said, oh, I've seen it before. And then we all sat absolutely entranced. And I had forgotten just how... It's not even a hidden gem, is it? It's just a gem. It's just absolutely fantastic. It takes the whole historical... You know, we've had celebrity historicals. That's definitely been a thing of late. And it kind of turns it on its head because this feels a lot more serious. And even we get a nod to the Romans, don't we, early on. And tonally, this is not too dissimilar to the Romans. Perhaps the stakes are somewhat higher here, obviously. But what I mean by that is, this is playing history sort of just with a bit of a twist. And I really enjoy that. And one of the first things that struck me is that actually, by rooting this not around a celebrity character, but around a family, it actually feels quite timeless. You know, this isn't, dog snoring over there, this could be set in 2020 and it would still kind of function in a similar sort of way. Admittedly, there's no volcanoes, but you know what I mean? Because we understand this family dynamic and it makes perfect sense. You know, overachieving girl, who's going to go off and do a life of X, Y, and Z. Layabout lad, who's obviously got more potential than he's given credit for. We feel these characters, you know, fairly hapless dad. In fact, there's a modern family vibe to that family, if I'm perfectly honest about it, but there we go. To begin with, having not seen it for a while, I thought, my God, there's an awful lot of things going on. There's like almost different factions and this, that, and the other. And then this is the episode rockets along. You think, oh no, this is actually quite a clear-cut and simple story. It makes a lot of sense what's happening in this story. And Doctor Who stories don't necessarily need to make sense, let's be honest. If the chutzpah about them is substantial enough, then you get away with it. But no, this feels a very solid story. And in fact, I feel somewhat inspired to go and read the Fires of Pompeii novel that I've got up there that I've never actually read. So I think that would be quite a fun thing to do because I think this is just a great story. But I could go on about all that all day. Oh, and the set. Well, it's not sets, it's location filming. I still haven't looked at where they filmed it. It is abroad somewhere.
I would like to know.
I'm guessing it's Italy.
I thought it looked a lot like Marrakesh.
There you go. It could be, couldn't it? Anyway, so just all of this, what a fantastic little package of a Doctor Who story. But let's focus in on a couple of things, if we may. This Peter Capaldi chap. Now, it would be... I would make reference to Capaldi even if the future of Doctor Who went a different way. And for those of you who may be younger than me, Peter Capaldi, from my perspective, is that the dog? You're laughing at the dog?
I'm laughing at two things, the dog snoring and also you saying those of you who may be younger than me, that's most of it.
Everybody's younger than me these days. Peter Capaldi was most well known, to me at least, as playing Malcolm Tucker in The Thick of It, a legendarily angry and sweary man.
But Scottish as well, he's not Scottish.
Terribly Scottish man, yeah, very Scottish. And in this story, he's absolutely adorable. And he's so nice and kind. And I've made this reference to Modern Family, which is a programme that we're watching with the kids. We always like to have a comedy programme on the go. And Phil, I don't know if you've seen this programme, there are some similarities to Caecilius and Phil. You know, just well-meaning, sort of like daft, no, it's nothing like me. Daft dad, who's nothing like me. So it's quite weird to see Capaldi in this role being just lovely, when I'm used to him being the most, well, I wasn't this point, the most obnoxiously sweary man on the planet. But that's the by. All of the guest cast do a fantastic job. That Karen Gillan, she's one to watch as well.
Nah.
The other thing I'd like to mention is this. Already, the dynamic between the Doctor and Donna has suddenly ratcheted this programme up by many, many points, okay? Tennant, or the Doctor, I'm not entirely sure it's Tennant or the Doctor. Let's be fair, let's say the Doctor, cannot rest on his laurels now because, and I'm sure I made reference to this, it's the Evelyn Smythe phenomenon. Anybody who's not listened to Big Finish with Colin Baker and Evelyn Smythe, they need to go and do that. But I do think having a slightly older woman with the Doctor is an absolute winning move because slightly older women do not take any nonsense from his absolute ridiculousness. She stands up to him and it pays off because all of a sudden the Doctor's he's not just this all-conquering, I've got to sort everything out. He's got to justify himself, even more so in this episode where the whole Pompeii thing, that ethical debate rages on throughout the episode. But alongside that as well, it makes it all the more valuable when there is a bit of genuflection. Like, for example, the bit where he gets the water pistol and she says, You fought him off with a water pistol. I bloody love you, which is just what you would want somebody to say in that situation if you were the Doctor. You don't want some simpering girl. I don't. Doctor, I bloody love you. That's all anybody needs on a daily basis. Absolutely fantastic. And I just think already the warmth and the friction and the everything else about this relationship, which I've already said, and it shouldn't, I try and keep to the episode by episode. This will be one of the iconic Doctor-companion relationships. We know this, people. We've known this very recently, haven't we? But it just, works from the off. Tennant gets some really nice meaty stuff to play with here as well. But again, it doesn't feel too overbearing, overpowering as sometimes Tennant's Doctor sometimes is wont to do because it's kept on the real, this family. Donna advocating for them. And then, of course, that brilliant scene at the end where they look out over Pompeii. And I'm not entirely down when he coins the word volcano. I don't think that's necessary. But at one point...
That probably is where it comes from.
No, but my point is, because they'd made reference to it earlier in the story, but I didn't need that moment because it just felt a little bit... Okay, they made it. Well, the real moment there is when he goes... Capaldi just goes... All those people. And that's all it needs to be. No messing about. All those people, he just says. Because never forget, and I did make this point when watching it, people go to Pompeii to say, isn't it amazing, Pompeii? This is dead people. People caught in the midst of...
But dead people are interesting people.
Well, yeah, I know. But, I think, anyway, a bit of respect needs to be shown.
That tree looks lovely.
It does, doesn't it? And I do think that this episode of Doctor Who, a historical episode, which sometimes are quite frivolous in this era of Doctor Who, this is a very, very respectful and kind and thoughtful episode of Doctor Who, which I think you do go away from thinking, bloody hell, this whole Pompeii thing, that was a proper tragedy, that was, and it was a proper, it doesn't matter how long ago it was, a proper horrible thing to happen. And I think this Doctor Who, I'm not saying does it justice, nobody talks like that, but in terms of dealing with something that is, a proper big historical thing, my goodness, yeah, what... Lib, back me up. Great episode?
Great episode.
Great episode. We absolutely
And my emojis are brilliant.
All right, emoji game is on point. I can't wait for the next one because I can barely remember it. And that's surely the best kind of episode, Doctor Who. Love you, bye.